It's time for some Doc Marten redemption. Because I think Doc Marten might have actually made a couple things that could potentially sway me and change my mind about Doc Marten to some degree. Because we have spent the last 4 years, basically since we started, well, the first boot we cut apart was a pair of Doc Martens. And that's what started all this, and it's been a huge part of what's fueled all this, because I think we showed a lot of people that even though Doc Marten used to be a good boot brand and used to be really reliable, and there's these certain cultural assumptions about them, well, we just went through and just like busted a lot of those. And it's not that Doc Martens is bad through and through. They still make decent boots. You know, they're pretty pricey for what you get. They're pretty cheap materials. You know, I just kind of view them as sneakers in the shape of boots. But they still have their Made in England line. And so that's why when I saw one that had a unique leather, I was like, maybe they've changed some stuff. Maybe the leather was enough to convince me that I want it. And then they also had like a new style of boot that I've never seen Doc Marten do that's more in my territory of like the more like Western, more work, a little more just manly in general. And so I was like, I'm gonna buy both those, and I'm gonna try to find a way to like Doc Martens. And these two one of the two might do it. And I'm not saying we're even gonna cut these in half. We might not cut them in half. I might just wear them if I like them. If there's no interest in these, then I probably won't cut them. But the goal with this was to find a boot or two boots that's gonna change my mind about Doc Marten. Like, Dr. Marten changed my mind. Did this change my mind? It's like, can I find a way to like Doc Marten? That's what this is. And the reason I don't really like Doc Marten quality-wise is they just, you know, it's like kind of a Goodyear welt, but not really Goodyear welt. And so they lean into the Goodyear welt value of like super strong, durable, and whatever. Meanwhile, it's just, it's not really glued together from the stitch down. It's just heat welded, which is a little bit weaker. That's why a lot of Doc Marten, not a lot, on occasion Doc Martens fail in that way where it splits from the outsole. They use cheap materials through the sole construction, which is like tons of foam, really thin outsole, like cheap material that you're standing on underneath the insole, cheap leather, tons of plastic coatings on top, and so it's just not a good boot when you're looking at it from the boot perspective. The long-awaited Drifter 3s are finally released, which means I can finally show everybody the patinaed pair that I've been hiding and waiting until the launch of the video to really show everybody, because they turned out so freaking good. So this pair, I just beat up. I simulated just tons and tons of work. If you didn't care about your boots and you just wore them to work, wore them riding, wore them out on the range, anything you're doing, beating the crap out of them, this really shows out. All the chunks taken out, the scars, the scratches, that gradient coming through, versus this is more simulating tons of wear that you're trying to be a little bit more protective of. You're not trying to scratch it up. You're trying to let that slow gradient of patina come through as that blood red core of the blood core leather slowly gets exposed. Or you can just keep it old school and shine them up and polish them and keep just a little hint of red, because that's the whole point of this leather, is you can do anything you want with it. It's supposed to show and emphasize that leather is a material that you can just beat the crap out of and it'll stay strong. Because the whole concept of this blood core leather we designed with Seidel is to emphasize that leather is so durable, and it is the flesh of an animal, and you're supposed to beat it up. You're supposed to scratch it and scar it. And same concept with these boots. They're a pair of whites on their hand sewn, stitched down. It's the highest quality boots made in the US in my opinion. This is our Western kind of like more modern packer with a little bit wider toe, not quite as high of a heel, but still Western inspired without being a giant cowboy boot. So if you want a pair of these, check them out below. There's a sizing video and the launch video. If they're sold out, get on that limited edition email list. So check them out below. So, which one should we start with is the real question. Let's start with the Made in England one. So, what do we have here? Well, this is the 1460 Made in England Wax Commander lace-up boot, $260. I got it in a US 10, which is a EU 43, because I wear anywhere from a 43 to 44. I'm a 10 on the Brannock. And the thing that really intrigued me about this is the leather that they used, which is Wax Commander, which is tanned by CF Stead. And CF Stead is one of the last remaining English tanneries, and they specialize in suede and like the furrier, like nubucks and rough out, but particularly suede, because, you know, England's a lot more of like a dress boot culture. You know, that's a lot what the English boot making and shoe making was historically. And so CF Stead being focused on more suede and being an English tannery makes a ton of sense, because you're like, that's, you know, suede's, they're not, you don't put suede in a work boot. You put suede in more casual boots, more dress boots, more like skate sneakers, stuff like that. And CF Stead makes about as high quality of suede as you can get. So let's see, and they say our partnership with CF Stead & Co. brings together two British heritage brands for footwear steeped in refined sophistication and history. Founded in 1904, CF Stead is a tannery in Leeds, West Yorkshire, specializing in high-quality imported, naturally tanned skins, and we've been using their leather since 1970. So pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything. So here's like an example. It's construction. Goodyear welted. The upper and sole are heat sealed and sewn together, providing more comfort and durability for years to come. So it's like they're not hiding the fact that it's heat sealed, but like it's not truly Goodyear welted all the way through, at least to the assumption that people would make based on what they know about Goodyear welted boots. But it's not at the end of the day, it's not the absolute worst thing. At least there is a real structural stitch. It's all the other things that I don't like about Doc Martens. Oh, we got a little unboxing to do actually. So Blade HQ sent me this box of mysterious products. So let's unbox this and see where we end up. So what did Blade HQ send me? If you don't know, Blade HQ's, they have a website where they have tons and tons of knives. Like all the big brands, they've got exclusive stuff like this little live wire, and they just send us some knives on occasion, because we do so many unboxings and stuff that it's nice to be able to start learning some other industries and start showing you guys some other stuff that you might be interested in, because boots and knives go hand in hand. So it's just a really natural fit. And they're based in Utah. I was on their YouTube channel a few weeks ago, and we talked about like matching boots with certain knives. It was super fun. So let's see what they sent me. Oh, more of the freaking Sprinkle donut merch. If you don't know, I've got their little sprinkle knife, like donut knife or whatever. Okay, another Kershaw. Oh yeah, this is a freaking donut package. Okay, so we got some rolling dice. All dice are made to roll. The Blade HQ logo. It's like a little Velcro patch. Little beads that people put on the end of their knives. I'm still not even sure what those are. I think it's just decorative when people put the little beads on their knives. Got a little couple of donuts there. It's pretty cool. And then last thing is knife oil. Keep those joints lubed, I'm assuming. Let's get to the knife. You've seen these. You'll see them in the B-roll. Let's get to the knife. Ooh, another one. I love it. Okay, how's this knife work this time? Try not to hurt myself. Okay. So it's got a little, oh, okay. Oh, it's got my finger up. So obviously another like donut knife with the sprinkle scales. The blue knife blade, little colored accents. Got a little locking mechanism right there. Pretty slick. Nice and easy to flick out. I like that little attachment there. I'll put my beads on there. Put my donut beads. Pretty cool. So, if you want this, check it out below. And let's unbox these that I definitely didn't need a knife for. It's fun seeing knives. Okay, it's fun. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Oh, I forgot about this. Part of the reason I was actually interested in this, like I mentioned, is the outsoles are super thin. This is their old school Commander, like luggy outsole. Clearly, like almost exactly the same as the V100, which is nowhere to be found. Yeah, okay, I'll show you. So you look at this outsole that's on the NDC, the Cordovan ND gift that Nick's gave me. Exact same pattern. So I was like, dang, okay, bringing back the old school pattern and some CF Stead leather. Let's see what else we got. Got a nice booklet, a little duster bag. All right, it's a pretty good looking boot. So, CF Stead leather. How thick is it? 2 millimeters. That's good. Good enough for me for a pair of Doc Martens. Inside, what do we have? Full length sock liner. Why is it hard? It's like hard underneath. Is this boot actually built differently? Because usually there's a patch of foam right here at the ball of the foot, and you can see it from the inside out, but I don't necessarily see it. I just love the white stitching. It reminds me of the Bear Slayers, the collaboration we did with JK. I like heavy contrast. I think that looks nice. Let's see how much this suede actually stretches. Just a quick like preliminary like stretch test. Okay, so that's your total length of the collar right there. And if I stretch it, so you can see it does stretch, but because it's so thick and it's CF Stead, it doesn't stretch a ton. Let's just try stretching the side here, see if it'll take like a little imprint of my, oops, scratched it. So because it's thicker, it just doesn't stretch nearly as much. And CF Stead, they really specialize in this. And this is the Made in England pair. So this is about as close to a high quality Doc as we've seen. Because even like the Made in England traditional line is very, like it's still a smooth leather. And it's pretty dry, it's a little bit thin, whereas this is really waxy. It's 2 millimeters thick. And the nice thing is it's pretty malleable. You don't have that hard break-in that you would get from the smooth leathers. And it's made in England, the traditional, or at least close to the first factory, because I think NPS or Solver is actually the originals. And so close enough to the Made in England originals, good leather, luggy outsole, feels like it doesn't have as cheap of materials on the inside. Like it feels pretty sturdy, like it's not squishy. I'm like, do we just cut these? I might cut them. We'll see. We'll try them on, see if they fit first, I guess. But we gotta do the other half of the unboxing. This one's interesting because I've never seen Doc Marten make anything remotely close to this. I'm sure they have in the past, I just haven't seen it. Little Blade HQ knife. Totally unboxing. Cutting tape and stuff. And this is also a little, you know, eventually I want to make another project that I'd love to do in the future for a collaboration is making the ultimate kicker. You know, just making a really simple, a little pull-on boot that's made for the back door, running your chores, running down to the shop, you know, whatever it happens to be, you just have like a really durable, really high quality kicker that has all the features that the rest of the kickers in the industry are missing. That's what I want to do, but I just haven't found a really cool angle that I'm really confident with yet. So part of this is a little research for that project. So let's actually see it. Woo! I forgot I didn't buy black. Yes. Oh dang! You might notice that it also has that luggy outsole. But these are not made in England. So let's figure out what these are. Okay, these are the Anistone low leather biker boots. Retail for $170. Has the luggy outsole. It's not the same as the Made in England outsole. Every time I say outsole, sometimes it sounds like asshole. You know, different color. Feels about the same though. What about the heights? So you guys can see the actual height of the outsole. The Anistone is a little bit thicker of an outsole. And this is not CF Stead. This is a similar kind of color, but it's different. It's just a no-name leather. So what is it? Let's read the description real quick. Start your engines. Our new Anistone low biker boot is built from rugged, burnished, waxy pull-up leather with extra leather loops and punched with branded rivets. Set on our elevated Beck sole with signature DM grooves and yellow welt stitching, tagged with our unmistakable black and yellow heel loop. You know what I wish they would have done with this? I feel like this was such a missed opportunity. Why didn't you put 2 of these little pull tabs on the sides? That's what I want. I don't want these ugly little branded DM pull loops that aren't even functional because you can't really get your finger in there, clearly. Give me 2 of these on the side and I would love this boot because I still like Doc Marten as like a brand. I like certain aspects of them. And so when they came out with this, even before I bought it, I was like, why did you not put either 2 pull tabs here, like a Chelsea boot, or 2 pull tabs here that are your branded like Doc Marten? Because these are iconic. This is part of like the whole Doc Marten thing is this little pull loop. And they could have put it on the sides, but they didn't. Not that that's that big of a deal, but it drives me nuts. Premium full grain with waxy, oily finish, medium pull-up effect. This isn't full grain leather, is it? Nope. Well, I'm gonna say I highly, highly doubt this is a full grain leather. This is like more of a waxed nubuck or an oiled nubuck, because you can see that kind of matte color to it, and when you scratch it, it lightens up. You know, I'm hardly putting any pressure on it. I'm like literally just letting my fingernail like rest on the leather and it lightens up. That's because it's not a true full grain pattern where that top smooth portion is like our skin, like the outside of the skin. It's perfectly smooth. But when you start sanding down through that grain, you start revealing all the little teeny fibers in the grain. And that's why when you run your fingernail over it, even very, very lightly, it lightens up. Because it's not that you're scratching them, you're taking all those little teeny fibers that have been laid flat because of the waxing or the oiling, and then your little fingernails pop just tiny little hairs up. And that's what gives you that color difference. And you can tell it's not a scratch because all you have to do is lay those fibers flat again. A little bit of heat and a little bit of friction, reactivate some of that oil and some of that wax, you know, and they're gone. So not a full grain leather, but it's a really common misconception or mislabeling. But honestly, the ones in the photos looks a lot more like a full grain leather, and it's a lot more like burgundy. This is a lot more brown hues in it. But overall, though, I think it's a cool little boot. I'm curious to see how it fits because I just want this. I just want one Doc Marten boot to be like good, that I can actually wear a pair of Docs and not feel ashamed of myself for wearing them. Like, honestly, if we wouldn't have talked so much trash about Doc Marten, I feel like there's room for like a collaboration down the road. But I highly doubt they have any interest in working with me after the last 4 years of potentially costing them money. What am I wearing today into the review? Little Blundstones. Like I said in some of these videos, I always end up in a pair of Blundstones and Redbacks because they're easy to put on, just like these little pull-on boots. You know, that's kind of the whole kicker concept. And so that's kind of what these are supposed to start taking the place of, is a little pull-on boot when I'm feeling lazy in the morning or I'm unmotivated to get dressed. I don't want to be uncomfortable by wearing some big, heavy, unbroken-in boot. Pull these bad boys out. This one doesn't have a full sock liner. It's only a half sock liner, but it does have that fiberboard all the way underneath your foot. No squishy foam, which I'm fine with. Okay, 43s, 10 on the Brannock. This is a size US 10 in men. See how it fits. Oh man, imagine if they had two pull tabs on the side that actually worked, that were Airwear branded. That's a good slump. Yeah, those aren't bad. Where's my toe actually go? You know, my toe's pretty close to the end. I think I could have gone up a size because I think they only go in full sizes. But for a little pull-on boot, I also don't want them to be too big because they get really loose and floppy where I have low insteps and low volume feet. They can easily pull off. Yeah, okay. Might have to wear them around a little bit, see how comfortable they actually are, see how I feel about the actual look. We'll see. I gotta warm up to them a little bit because I don't love the look of them right now. Okay, now the made in England pair, that's the CF Stead leather. Let's see how they fit, because if neither of these fit, we'll just cut them in half. That's the beauty of doing these. It's the beauty of like any of these unboxings is, you know, we unbox stuff, check out the analytics, how much interest was there. If there's enough interest, we cut them in half. If not, we're just like, oh well. So depending on, okay. Here's the number one thing I hate about Doc Martens is their uppers are so freaking big that you just can't ever tie them tight, even if they're a little bit too small, like when you buy size 10. I honestly probably should have bought a size 11 in both of these. I'm not squished in there, but for someone like me that likes to have a little bit of wiggle room, I probably would have gone up half a size. But they're still wearable. I don't mind the look of these though. I kind of dig it. I like that like contrast stitching. Like I said, it reminds me of like the Bear Slayers. I like that heavy contrast. I like the color of them. So let me know which one you want us to cut apart. Do you want us to cut both? What are your opinions on this? Because is this enough right off the bat to change my mind about Doc Marten? No, but I feel like they're getting closer to what I would actually wear. This one's really close. This one is close-ish, but I just wish they would do like one batch of made in England Doc Martens where they actually make them as high quality as humanly possible. But they have not done it yet. So still a cool boot. I still like the Made in England boots. You know, I way prefer those over the more like mass produced ones. And if I was gonna buy a Doc Marten, I'd probably buy the Made in England just because it's more true to the original. So thank you guys for watching this. I'll put a bunch of links to some Doc Marten videos below. I'll put some Solavear videos below. I think we did like a grip fast or something, alternative to Doc Martens. We'll put all those below, and be on the lookout for potentially cutting 1 or 2 of these in half at some point on the main channel. And thank you guys for watching these unboxing. It's fun just to kind of hop on camera and just get into some more like the casual stuff, the unboxings, the just kind of like BSing about random stuff. And it's fun for me to do. So thank you guys. And check out the Blade HQ stuff below if you want to get yourself one of these donut knives. Look at that little thing. Already lost it. How did I lose it already? There it is. If you want this knife, check them out below. Got a bunch of cool knives. And thank you guys for watching. See ya.